There's an old Chinese saying, beware of what you wish for. The fact is, Donald Trump has been reelected President of the United States and will take office on January 20th of next year. And Donald Trump supporters for the last few days have been celebrating like crazy. But the fact is, they may have bitten off more than can chew. They should be worried about what they're going to get, especially with the promises that Donald Trump has said that will rip this country apart, economically, socially, in every way possible. And to help me illustrate this, I'm going to read you several excerpts from the Atlantic website in an article, Trump Voters Got What They Wanted. Those who expect Donald Trump will hurt others and not them are likely to be unpleasantly surprised, by Tom Nichols. And so it came to pass. Last night, a gaggle of millionaires and billionaires grinned and applauded for Trump. They were part of an alliance with the very people from another Trump term would hurt, the young, minorities, and working families among them. Trump, as he has shown repeatedly over the years, couldn't care less about those groups. He ran for office to seize control of the apparatus of government and to evade the judicial accountability for his previous actions as president. Once he's safe, he will embark on the other projects he seems to truly care about, the destruction of the rule of law and any other impediments to enlarging his power. Now, this is from, puts a quote from Jonathan Last, from the Boardwalk website. He said this on a social media post last night, that the election went the way it did, quoting him, because America wanted Trump. That's it. People reaching to construct policy alibis for the public because they don't want to grapple with this are whistling past the graveyard, unquote. Last worries that we might now be in a transition to an authoritarianism of the kind Russia went through in the 1990s. But I visit Russia often those days. And as much as the Russian democratic implosion was driven by generally brutal economic conditions and the rapid collapse of basic public services, Americans have done this to themselves during a time of peace, prosperity, and astonishingly high living standards. An ever-mentioned society that thinks this is living in a hellscape is ripe for gulling by dictators who are willing to play along with such delusions. The bright spot in all, well, actually, I don't know why he says this is a bright spot, but just bear with me on this. The bright spot in all this is that Trump and his cadre must now govern. The last time around, Trump was surrounded by a small group of mediocrely competent people, and these adults basically put baby bumpers and pool noodles around the sharp edges of government. This time, Trump will have to rule with greater power but with fewer excuses, and he and his voters will have to own the messes and outrages he is already planning to create. Those voters expect that Trump will hurt others and not them. They will likely be unpleasantly surprised, much as they were during his first term. He was, after all, voted out of office for a reason. For the moment, some number of them have memory holden that experienced and are pretending that his vicious attacks on other Americans are just hot air. Trump, unfortunately, he means most of what he says. In this election, he has triggered the unfocused and unfounded grievances of millions of voters. Soon, we will learn if he can still trigger their decency if there's any to be found. Now, before I move on, that last sentence that Donald Trump can still trigger their decency if there's any left to be found, there is no decency in the MAGA. None. These people are celebrating perhaps the collapse of our government under the heel of Donald Trump. There is no decency. Just a few days ago, I saw this tweet, this text, other reports that millions of African American students were receiving this text message saying that it's time for them to start picking cotton. And we already know what that means. To become slaves once again. Only one day after Donald Trump was elected president. Now to this. If you really believe that Donald Trump isn't going to hurt you just because you voted for him, you're wrong. Trump doesn't care if you voted for him or not. No, actually, I should rephrase that. Donald Trump only cares if you voted for him. Afterwards, you're crap to him. You're nothing to him. Just another number on the board. We have to make sure, the real Americans need to make sure that we make this as hard for Donald Trump as we possibly can. We may need to suffer for his presidency for however long he lasts, because I still believe that Trump is not going to last 4 years. The 25th Amendment is going to come up, barring something else happening. But until then, we're going to make this as hard as we possibly can on Donald Trump and his cadre of followers, including Kash Patel, who's trying to be the CIA director and wants to use the CIA against American citizens, all because they offended Donald Trump. If you think that voting for Trump makes you safe, you're in for a rude awakening. As I said earlier, Donald Trump doesn't care if you voted for him. He only cared that you voted for him, and afterwards, he can do whatever he wants to you. Like a rapist saying that I can do whatever I want because you're just a woman. That's Trump. And it's unfortunate that we have to suffer through it. But he has to suffer us, the American people. His followers have to suffer us, the American people. Let's make it hard on them as we possibly can, not by the violence, not by the gun, but by the law, but by our unity as American citizens of all races, creeds, and color. Something that Donald Trump is not ready to fight. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.